I mean, he's not like a Charlie about her, at the very least. I mean, he's still very misguided, but he's not a Charlie about it. But even then, Charlie is winding up in a good spot. Not a good spot, I mean, relationship-wise. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are back to another episode of Infinite Ryvius. We are currently on episode 16. Sorry, I think I just told my stream a little bit earlier that we were on episode 18, because vision's getting a bit blurry. Blur. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with my words either. Actually, we're not even on episode 16, we're on episode 17. We just watched episode 16 last week. Apparently, I'm just turning into an idiot. Sorry, the joke there is that I was always an idiot. It's the Hulk meme. That's the thing, Tony. I'm always stupid. Anyway, jokes aside, first things first, we have the board. And as you'll notice, nothing's changed. Even in my board log, I've made the note, nothing yet. This time more a lack of time thing. But the whole board will be changed soon to reflect the uprising and its effects. Again, the element that we ended last episode on Blue running off down a hallway, or not running off down a hallway, in a hallway with a purple girl there, and indicating to her, sorry, I'm just fucking this up, left, right, and center, purple girl indicating to us, and I guess to Blue himself, that his thoughts are about his family that basically used him, getting revenge on everybody, and an all-consuming thought about Julie, which, I've been against since the moment it seemed like he was making moves on her, and then even more against since the moment it seemed like she had fallen for him in some way. But, how can one control matters of the heart, I guess? I'm just against it. I'm just against it from the outside, but if these were real people, I would still say, who the fuck am I to jump into this? That said, we all know that Julie was one of my favorite characters in the beginning, and she's kind of fallen down that slope as her character writing has turned more and more into woman who gets used rather than woman who takes charge. Because they painted her in a kind of different light when she was someone who was so smart that the rest of those Ys had to lean on her. And now it seems like Stein is using her popularity, which, by the way, Blue kind of built up when he forced her to go down into that beauty contest party thing that they were doing. So I guess in that way, Stein was using Blue even all the way back then. Huh. I don't know. The element that Stein has been manipulating everyone in charge from the moment that they basically got on the Ryvius, to the element that his being in charge has affected things negatively. Like the fact that they're going to keep the unlimited point system in play, even though that clearly turns everybody against whoever's in charge, while also still restricting the amount of resources available to all the people on the ship to the whole work point system. It feels like it's always designed to rotate out a leader, because I guess if any leader stayed in power for too long, they'd be able to figure out what Stein is up to and then oust him? I don't know. Maybe this is all that conspiracy mind again I've been talking about during Apothecary Diaries, that it's coming into play here during Infinite Ryvius, but I don't know. I just feel like Stein is being that kind of player. At the same time, these aren't even my notes. This is just off the cuff stuff. Let's go back into the notes so that we can get on through this and start the episode proper. The support I had for Koji from the beginning of the show is basically gone at this point. He's turned into such a frustrating character that even I have to side with Yuki against him. He heard the message, what Blue said, And instead of being concerned that the guy who stormed the bridge and kept command at the point of a gun then also tried to abandon everyone in a moment of peril, he wants to know that what coward aired that message across the entire ship and started a riot. The only thing he asks of any real merit is if it is okay for him to remain in his present position. The only reason he's really on the bridge was because he made himself valuable to Blue, which is likely the source of his split loyalties now. And now that the Zwei are in charge again, he's kind of out of place. I really have a problem with everybody who keeps trying to figure out who released the message rather than being concerned with the content of the message. It's like people have more of a problem with freedom of information than the implication that is in the information. That's damning to the character of the people who have the problem. Sorry, itchy nose again. Speaking of the Zwei being in charge again, these Zwei are obviously changed from the people that they were from the start of the show. While I still prefer them to be in charge over Blue and his gang, there is now an edge to the Zwei I feel everyone needs to be cautious about. Before, they were optimistically, while naively, trying to do what was best for everyone. Now, with Stein seeming to be the power behind the throne, we are still moving forwards with social engineering projects to keep everyone in line, while giving the Zwei a free pass to resources. They've been tainted by the Blue influence. While I'd like to say Julie is the only one still thinking straight, arguably, she is the most tainted by Blue at the moment. Now, arguably, also, by the end of the episode, it seems to be indicating to us that Blue is being tainted by Julie as well, so hopefully maybe they pull each other down a little bit. I only noticed in the rewatch that Luxon squeezed his way through the crowd to get to the front to accuse Blue when the mob gets there. So during the reaction, when I was indicating that Luxon had taken control of the mob, I was wrong. He literally just got there and pointed fingers. At best, he chose to stand in front of everyone. I guess he hoped, I guess I hope, he can leverage that against his previous speech with the rest of the Zwei. Earlier in the season, where it seemed like he was a blowhard, to become some sort of man of the people. Luxon is still being played off as a joke, but I believe he's a fool as hero archetype that will eventually show his heart of gold. More so to the rest of the ship, I think we've seen it as the audience already in how he's cared for Pat while doing all of the worst jobs on the ship. Now, granted, he was kind of just like shoved off, or Pat was shoved off onto him, but I feel like he's taking his job seriously. Like, you see him bathing Pat and trying to teach Pat life lessons. And I mean, he does try to act like the big man in front of Pat, but I feel like he's carrying Pat like a fatherly figure. And he has obviously been given the most like low class jobs possible, but he's doing them. Like, think about like Raiden and the rest of the people who slack around on the ship. They just fucking wouldn't do it. But even before you had to work to get food, Luxon was just doing the jobs assigned to him. So I've got high hopes for Luxon, and I'm hoping I'm not going to get like another Julie disappointment out of him. Purple Girl being visible and interactable with everyone is a fairly new development. That they tried and failed to get her clothes off could imply something about the nature of her being. Like, if she is just a product of a collective imagination, maybe the clothes were made wholly with her, and there is no way to take them off. Also, it seems like she is energized by stress and turmoil. When Koji starts having an argument outside of the cabin she's asleep in, that's when she comes to, and then starts wandering the halls towards the two characters having the most emotional problems out of everyone else. It could explain why the blue impulse captain was acting as crazy as he did, that it was necessary to keep the ship running and have her, or I say her, we don't know what the shell thing behind him was on the bridge, whatever that was, interacting with him. Again, just thought processes, obviously nothing's proven so far. And my last note here, I missed this the first time around, but the men on the ship are using the room code of either Criff or Michelle for sexual favors. Also, I'm going to put this down. I think it's pretty obviously it's Michelle, given how she's restrained to the floor. That is reprehensible, regardless of what the girls might have done when they were in power. It's just not on. I honestly don't know what else to say about it other than to call attention to the fact it's happening, as it seems like such an obvious wrong. It's just a truism at this point that this is bad. Like, I obviously can't say that shit like that would have happened, or would or wouldn't have happened under Blue's regime, but it's happening now. And the only tie I can think to here is that Luxon was trying to save his friend from the same sort of situation without the sexual assault part. And if there's going to be anybody that I think can pull through on these outcast characters, I have to think it's a Luxon, unless it's going to be Yuki or, God forbid, somehow Koji's not even in the area anymore. Koji's been relegated to the lift ship. I don't know. I just do not want to see this situation continuing. I think this comes to light more so if you like watch my reaction to Macross Plus, that introducing character arcs that are just sexual assaults is not the way to play this out, and I'm never going to support that in media. That evil for the sake of evil, sexual assault just for the sake of proving a character is bad, not the way to do it. It's just not on. Sorry, again, I said I had no other thing to say about it, that I feel like saying the same thing over and over again just to solidify the fact. Anyway, that was my final thought from the last episode. I think there's nothing left to do but to go ahead and hop on into it and see what happens next.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Literally, Koji is the worst. So I would say he's the worst ranked in all fields on the entire ship. So I also don't see how Koji doesn't get his ass beat every day by Yuki from now on. Oh, it's good to see Rafra still being handled. Sorry, there's some confusion in my mind to certain character profiles, because I want to say that looked like Cheese. I'm sorry, Cheek. Because he got the same hairstyle as Cheek. So I was looking at the opening, trying to make sure if anything had changed. But it seems like all the members of Blue are still there, including San, who hasn't been a Team Blue member for a long time. But yeah, no, that looked like the hairstyle of Cheek, but I guess that could have been a Kumi? But no, Kumi has brown hair. It's been Koji, I guess. But then again, why would they be with Rafra? I'm just uncertain about who that. See, also, Ran could also be Ran. Ran also has a hairstyle. Has to be Ran, in fact. Because Rafra was left with the girls. Although that doesn't make sense either. Because Rafra was left with the, Aoi. That was Aoi. Sorry, it took me voicing all this out loud for this long to figure out that was Aoi, because Aoi's the only one with that hairstyle that had Rafra left with them as a group. I'm very bad. I'm face blind with some anime, and this is one of them. That's why I make the boards.
青のインプルスが破れたか。ワイヤが完全に復元するまで半年以上かかるらしいな。それよりも問
So
題
you
な
can
のは
repair
ハ
them?
イペリオン
That's interesting.
もう言い逃れはできんぞ。ワイヤとブラティカを手に入れるためだ。太陽系すべてと衛星一つ比べるまでもない。
申し訳ありません。当方の情報不足でした。まさか就航して18年であそこまで取り込まれているとは。
総員に告げる。特艦せよ。全力特艦だ。青のインプルスはすべてを
Okay, I guess I was wrong about my theory about why he's that way.
特艦で行こう。そうだ、くるくるだ。くるくるスフィクスのバックヤードによる影響か。
No, I was right. I was right about the why. I guess I was wrong about the fact that I thought he was doing it on purpose.
あとは人選だな。短時間でスフィクスとリンクできるものが。あの男は確かに優秀だが個人的感情が強すぎる。
Conrad? I'm assuming he's gonna be Conrad.
リスクを考え出したら何も始まらん。今は行動すべき時なのだ。これは未来への障害か。それとも我々に課せられた。
I'm confused because it seems like they're making more of these ships and then getting really worried about the one ship that's already out there. Yeah, but who on the ship would be able to capture him? Okay, good. The new supervisors are just getting bullied. Oh, great. Now the only relationship that's been steady the whole time is going to fall apart. Well, that's not going to blow up in their faces. I don't think anybody can see that. Is Rafra being separated from Fina the reason behind Fina's actions? Because it feels like she didn't act the same way when Rafra was around her, and she tried her best to get rid of Rafra. So now you have Fina and her name starts with a C. I've forgotten for some reason. Both asking about Aoi. Okay, so it does have multiple shots. Question we've been wondering about the gun the whole time.
こっちだってば変な奴がいたんだよやだな幽霊じゃないよね監視係なんだ
Ah, Raiden, you're a freak. Just wearing the coat and then a towel.
人手が足りないグランを戻してくれなんだったらチャーリーでもいい
でもみんなの同意が得られるか
バックレりゃいいじゃん艦長57区画のセキュリティが壊れたままなんですけど
カラボナ整備で空いてる班はそんなのないわよ全体の整備効率が 30% も落ちてるってのに
みんなにカツを入れ直さないとまずいんじゃないかそうだな怠けてるやつは独房に入れるとか
でもそれはエアーズブルーが第92区画にいたという情報が入ってきてるんですけど捕まったの
I feel like you released that information
それで
specifically
情報だけのようですが
to confuse her when she's about to go against what Stein
人から
wants.
証言を聞いて報告書にまとめてくださいわかりましたできるだけ詳しくお願いね
もっと毅然とした態度でないと周りが浮き足立ちます
だったらあなたがやって
私は参謀タイプです人を導く力はありません
I mean, know what that's like. To be fair, it is harder to be in front than it is to be in back. That's a weird turn. I guess she's using what she can. I don't blame her. She's in a tough spot. It's literally a have-not situation.
あのさ、彼女が聞いてほしいことがあるんだって。はじめまして。ファイナ S 篠崎です。ファイナでいいわ。いらっしゃい。
Again, she's fucking cult leader right now. I don't know what the goal is because we don't know what the girls are up to. Like, she sent the other girl to do something with Yuki. Like, are they gonna be the next group that takes over the ship? Like, through manipulation and subterfuge?
いつまで続けなくちゃいけないんだこんな生活
実力もねえくせにお高く止まってんじゃねえぞ監視役だったくせにうまいことツバイに取り入れやがってムカつくんだよって目が
I mean, to be fair, that's the same sentiment I was expressing a moment ago. At the same time, I wouldn't want him to get the shit beaten out of him for it. I just want him to change his opinion on things, that's all. Or not of his opinion, how he acts.
会いたいゆいりおしっこまだ仕事が残ってるの一人で行ってきてでも
Send Pat out
ル
alone.
クスンに頼んでルクスンかっこ悪いからやだあいい加減一人でできるようになりなさいパッドわかるでしょここはそういう場所なのいつまでも甘えてないでわがままなんか言わないの
Oh, come on, Julie. What the fuck are you doing? He's a fucking kid.
最低だな
Although, I mean, I don't think Rand has the best intentions either, so hard to agree with her in this situation.
寝てるんじゃないそうかもね
コウジ君君はどうしてそんなに真面目なわけ
にどうしちゃったのこれ。なんで
Is there any chance that Yuki is gonna go kick some ass because he's the only one who's allowed to beat his brother up? Because I would enjoy that, Yuki kicking ass for a good reason.
大したことないって。軽い脳震盪、それから単行部が3つ。
ありがとう葵さん。工事の看病してくれて。
お迎えだからね。
それだけ？
どういう意味？
他の感情はないのかしら。
ないない。
Again, you know, one of the
どうして笑って逃げるの？
girls who's asking about Aoi.
闇討ちかよ。汚ねえ真似しやがる。
やっかまれてんのよ。ポイントフリーの特権階級は。
俺らが決めたわけじゃないよ。だけどよく思ってない人がいることは確かだね。でもなんで工事だけが。
やっぱ狙いやすかったんだろ。弱そうだし。
大変。
I mean, Nyx is like a kid.
不謹慎だよ。
でも興味ある。
Saying that Koji looks weak, implying that you yourself could not be a target.
何か。
何してんだ。いやその。
I guess I was wrong about the Rafro thing. She's holding Rafro without any problem.
そろそろ時間じゃない？
そうでした。じゃあ。
ラーフラ連れて行くわね。
平気なの？
ええ。ルームメイトが世話してくれることになったから。今までありがとう。何かお礼しなくっちゃ。
今度なんかおごって。
喜んで。じゃあ。
ああ。俺もリフト課に行ってくる。
無理しないで。
分かってるよ。
What a weird little run he has. Hands at his sides, head down. Very submissive. Then again, he did get his ass kicked, so.
ルクスン北条です。パット君をお迎えに来ました。ユイリーさんは
もうブリッジに行っちゃったけど。
そっか。仕事忙しいんだろうな。
あんな女のどこがいいんだか。
I mean, he's not like a Charlie about her, at the very least.
ごめんなさい。
I mean, he's still very misguided, but he's not a Charlie about it. But even then, Charlie is winding up in a good spot. Not a good spot, I mean, relationship-wise.
MM3 の方が流れが弱いけど。
じゃあそれで。
ディオネから遠くなるぜ。
確実な方で行きましょう。
だからどっち？
そうそう。それと補充要員の件は？
整備班の組み直しもあるけど。待って、
今考えてるから。
That character looks suspiciously out of place in this show. Like she should have been an Evangelion or something.
工事は過去から逃げたがってる。
過去って？
あなたも弟さんも工事にとっては過去以外の何者でもないわ。
どういう意味？
言った通りの意味よ。
何？じゃあ私は工事の邪魔者だってこと？
ええ。工事は未来を生きるの。
You're getting your advice from the love,
好きで幼馴染になったわけじゃん。
Let's say you're getting your advice from the romantic competition or your word of mouth.
タイマーちゃんとかけた？ごめん。
That looked like it was a Kumi shirt, which doesn't look very good for.
あっちこっちにひよってるからそんな目に遭うんだよ。なんだという気。また始まったよ。
Or that guy's shirt, actually.
俺は俺なりに精一杯やってる。状況に流されてるだけだろうが。やめろって。そろそろ腹ぐらいくくれ。何を。
期待してんじゃねえ。救助なんて来ないんだよ。勝手に決めつけるな。
So I was right from like moment one about what Purple Girl really is.
なんでそんなに危機感ないんだ。好き勝手やってるやつらばかりだ。この船にはバカしかいないんだよ。
なんとこら。そんなの大事にしようとしてそのざまだ。
Doesn't bode well. You have to connect that thing to be able to control the ship.
守りたいからここにいんだろ俺たち。
王翦葵。
口を挟むな。俺と地滅野郎との問題だ。
ユキ、俺に何もするなっていうのか。
お前の能力ならその辺がお似合いだ。
努力しちゃいけないのか。
やめて。
結果の出ない努力なんざ
But what's Carbuncle's interest in their
やめてくれ。
arguments?
ユキ、そのざまで何をしよってんだよ。兄貴。
まさか幽霊。
She just walked through the bulkhead, I'm assuming, yeah. Because that's the problem that Blue's having. So we saw that. I assumed there's going to be gambling with this guy. Lukeson? You're fucking in on this? That's disappointing. I'm disappointed in Lukeson too.
中央を追うように8機の精鋭が見える。
敵？
おそらくこれは甲虫艦隊の基本的なフォーメーションですね。
河川艇かな。そんなんでバイタルガーダーに勝てるわけないのに。
前みたいなやつが来るよりいいさ。
バイタルガーダーの発信を指示してください。わかりました。
お前はそうやって
Except that your number one pilot for the Vital Guard is too busy kicking his brother's ass.
リフト艦聞こえますか？河川艇と思われる敵が接近中。バイタルガーダーを発進させてください。
了解。頼む。
なんでやらなかったのよ。
I wonder if Fina
ちゃんとやったもの。
is attempting to sabotage everything by having him in charge of the Vital Guard staff.
自分だけ楽しちゃって。イクミは私のために戦うって言ってくれたからいいの。あんたたちのためなんかじゃないんだから。何言ってんの？そんな理屈が通用すると思う。あんたたちだってイクミのおかげで助かってんでしょ？私にそんな口聞いて。
Oh, that's a very fucking skewed view she has.
ちょっとタイムね。作戦。
She's starting to become a problem too. But I feel like she's going to be the one who's had to pay for it in the end.
バカじゃないのコセ。オゼ君はあんたのためだけにやってるわけじゃないじゃん。自分だけ特別だって言っちゃダメよ。イクミは守ってくれるって言った。私にそう言ったもの。だから今は協力してみんなで生き残るの。そうでしょ。でも、
God, she saw that look in his eyes from their first kiss, and she's gotten real messed up by that.
フォローしきれないよ。あんたは可愛いからちょっとわがまま言っても許してもらえたかもしんない。今まではそれでうまくやってたかもしんない。でもね、状況が違うの。ここはリバイアスなの。あんたのせいで私まで目つけられるの嫌なの。だってイクミがそうやって全部他人に依存するのやめなって。コウジ君みたいになりたいわけ？艦内に通達します。
She's not part of the Fina cult, is she?
敵と思われる艦隊を発見しました。リバイアスはこれより迎撃態勢に入ります。作業中の皆さんは直ちに戦闘マニュアルにのっとり所定の位置についてください。
またこの前のような奴らが襲ってくるのか。父上、母上。
お父さんもお母さんも助けになんか来ないよ。ユイリーが言ったよ。これからは一人で何でもしなきゃいけないって。
子供のくせに。
Come on, Luxon. You've got to be the better one here. The fuck? How much cooler is this ship? Better not be called like Red Riot or something.
エイスピナーを再度展開させなさい。リバイアスを包囲するのよ。急ぎなさいよ。あんたらそれぐらいでちょうどいいの。
All women crew. So, possibility exists that they are from the same place Fina is, and Fina is establishing something like what they are. The fact of the matter is also stands that their thing on their bridge looks different from the thing on the Blue Impulse's bridge. Maybe implying that they took parts of one creature and each part is in a different ship?
この数値はやはり。
捕まえたわ。あら、張り合いないのね。
シンクの
Crimson what? What's the full name?
ディカスティ
Okay, pretty cool name. I don't think it rolls off the tongue as strongly as Blue Impulse did. Probably because I know what Impulse means. And Dicastia doesn't mean anything to me off the top of my head. Dicastia. I either didn't spell it right or it doesn't mean anything on a Google search. Although, I will say... No, never mind. This is nothing. Sorry, I was about to say, I think I just suddenly discovered a wiki completely dedicated to Infinite Ryvius, but it does not seem to be that way. It just happens to be something called Crimson Dichotus, or whatever I said before, on a wiki somewhere. Alright, what's going to be on the next time on?
人と人とは永遠に分かり合えない。だが人は人なしでは生きていけない。
She's getting in more trouble.
人は人を求める。それを苦しみというのなら、誰もが苦しんでる。苦しみの中で必死にもがき続けている。
You know, I don't actually care what happens in that scenario. Look, I already stated I don't care for the fact that Koji gets his ass kicked by a group of people, because I don't care for it, is what I mean to say. I don't know if that's what I was implying. I don't care for it because that's just, I don't know, more reprehensible behavior. You let that go and it's going to start happening more and more. Blue, I don't care for as a character. He's very interesting from studying a character, like that sort of thing. But I certainly don't want him in charge. I hate the influence he's having on Julie. It is just back-to-back stuff with Blue. Koji needs to do something with himself. Otherwise, he's just being a complete failure wherever we put him. In the small time where Blue was in control, and he just did whatever Blue told him to do, was the most he was ever a fully realized character, I feel like. So a crazed Blue ranting about Purple Girl walking through walls. Maybe he's out of ammunition. That could be a thing. Encountering Koji, who, why the hell is he wandering the bowels of the ship? I guess maybe he gets thrown out of the lift, but we're in the middle of a fight, so why would he have left his command post, even if they weren't listening to him, to wander the ship? Especially when the lift ship could have been launched at any point. Maybe they kicked him off before they launched it and said, we don't fucking need you, get out. That could be the thing. Again, it's an all-female crew on the Crimson DaCosta, whatever it is. I'm probably saying it wrong now because I haven't gotten into my head yet. Which just inspires me to think of Fina and whatever the hell she's up to, and the fact that she was looked down upon for where she came from. I have to go back into my notes for that one. That'll be next time. And the fact that they were hesitant about giving control of that to that group on the OSB side of things would indicate that that's just kind of the outlook that they have on whatever group this is. And then Fina is organizing that among the female members of the crew on board the Ryvius. I don't know. This show is... I don't know how to put this without it sounding bad. This show is a headache, and I don't mean a headache in a bad way. I mean that there's so much involved at this position of the show that trying to break it all down in my head into, like, a mind palace scenario is giving me a fucking headache. I want to figure it out. It's a headache that I'm suffering through on purpose. But it is still very complicated. I think aided by the fact that it is itself in an isolated format, right? Like, it's all happening on one ship. It's not like, say we were watching Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and we go to a planet, and then deal with characters there, and then we zoom over here to deal with characters on this planet. everybody that is on this ship having their own individual things with like one person here or one person there are all in the over-under interconnected with one another. So there's never a situation where I could say, oh, Criff and Charlie being together precludes this thing from happening. Because the fact is that that's why, as they said, need more people on the bridge. They could try and bring Charlie back, and Charlie coming back might say, I'm not coming back unless you let Criff out. And then Criff is like, you need to get my sister out. And then her sister would be like, oh, I'm actually already out. I've got this other guy doing whatever I want for him. And it's a whole chain of events. There's really no domino on this show that I don't feel like it could fall without hitting another domino, which then hits another domino, and it's like we're in Zero G and all the dominoes are floating through space, tapping one another and bouncing back and forth. I think that is the amazing thing that the show does, is that nothing is ever at rest. Even when we feel like things are going our way, or that characters are exactly where we want them, there's something else happening which is causing other pieces to start moving. So that even if I was to realize my ideal situation, say Luxon gets back on the bridge, maybe not even in control, just gets back on the bridge, that Stein is already going to be moving against him, or things that he did, say, apparently now that he's part of the gambling den, his gambling debts are going to come back for him, and he's going to ruin his thing all over again. Or Pat, because of what Julie said, is going to get himself in trouble, and Luxon, heart of gold that I think he has, is going to get hurt trying to save Pat from a situation he doesn't understand. There's just so many things at play here. That's the beauty of the show. That said, it looks like we're in another Blue Impulse situation, which means that we're going to get into another fight, which implies that another shakeup could happen while everyone is distracted by the fight. Not to mention Blue's wandering around, and he's about to capture a lead member of the crew, despite the fact that Koji can't barely do anything, and people fall apart around him because his presence is a disruption to the status quo. That said, I think those are my thoughts here, because I could keep rambling on, but I think I'm going to keep rambling on about the same things over and over again, which is what I typically do here. So, I think that's it for this episode. So once again, I have been Theta, this has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?